Hi and welcome to Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse Skinner and today I'm going to try to fix a bug I found in Svelte. So it's kind of an obscure bug. I found it during development and I'm not really sure why it would happen, but I'm going to try to figure it out today, or at least try to create a failing test for it, because at least that way it's a starting point for someone else to be able to fix the bug actually. Hey Gabby. All right, so here's the actual problem. So the first thing I did when I had a bug in my code, and I tried to figure out why it was there, and eventually I figured out it was a bug in Svelte. What happens is that if you have a promise and you destructure it like that to get a variable out, that's all fine. But then for some reason when a re-render happens, like if I click this, I'm going to mutate test, suddenly data is undefined. It's weird. And it's weird if you do it this way, it doesn't break. So it has something to do with the promise is dynamic or reactive. In my code, I didn't have a reactive statement. I called a function using a store variable. So something to do with store, something to do with reactivity. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna try to make a failing test at least for this and see where I can go from there. So I've already forked Svelte in my repo, in my GitHub account, and I already have it checked out here. I just updated it. I don't know why. I'm gonna do a hard reset. Fix per. I have to do this all in bash. Don't mind this. Hand waving. Okay, git reset hard. Okay, so I'm back to probably October 4th. Let's see if that's the latest commit in Svelte. Yeah, seems like the same one. Good. All right, so let's try to make a failing test for this. Now, the tricky thing is most of the tests are, or I'm not really sure, but a lot of the tests don't have like a mutation involved as far as I know. So I'll have to think of where to do that. Yeah, so what I'm going to start with is, I'm not like super familiar with the Svelte code base. I have fixed a couple small bugs in Svelte before, but at the same time, there's a lot to it, and things might have changed since the last time I looked at it. So when I'm working with a new code base that's not mine, and I'm trying to fix a bug in it, I usually start with finding a test that is sort of the same, and going from there, trying to copy that and make it suit my needs. So I'm looking here. My instinct was, I'm looking at all these different folders and tests. I'm not sure which one's the best. I see JavaScript. Maybe that's related, but it's sort of related to await. So maybe I should look for await somewhere. It's runtime, maybe? Let's see if we find an await test somewhere. There's some await tests. So, oh yeah, there's another part to this. For some reason, the if statement here is important. Without it, the bug isn't there. So there's a lot of different pieces to this. It has to do with await destructuring, then an if statement, I think, and then something to do with reactivity. Somehow the combination of those three with a state update causes it. It's really weird. Let's see what we can do. Destruct object. So maybe this is like related to it. So let's try to understand even how this test works. what does this config.js do? So the test is checking what the HTML is that gets generated by it, depending on what the promise is. So how does this work? It's like, what's component? Component's the component, then for some reason, somehow it's like setting this prop. It's updating the prop, and then it's checking what the output is. So is that gonna work? Is that enough to trigger it? Or does it have to be something in there? There's another await then if. I wonder. So we have an if in there. That might help. I don't know. So I've done another example of this. Instead of clicking, I had a set timeout. That might be enough to cause it. There's a lot of different stuff. Await with update, maybe that. How does that work? So there's another component. The value. And that renders that. Okay. A lot of different options here. So I'm going to try maybe this. Let's see if we can get it to break with like await then if, the style one. I think. Await then destruct rest. Oh, this does a lot of stuff. Well, I'm not sure what to even call this. I think it'll become more obvious if it later we figure out actually what the problem is. Await containing if. All right. They're all kind of similar, so I guess let's go with excuse me. Let's go with one of the simpler ones. Removed if. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Simultaneous reactive. Oh, here's one that's probably maybe good. And then I need to worry about the output. Oh, what is all this stuff? This is generated. Okay. I'm not going to type that out. Normal. I think this output. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do there. This one doesn't have all that output stuff, so I'm tending towards looking at that one. Okay, so let's copy this one. We'll start with that. I'll do it in the terminal. So test, where is this? Runtime samples. I'll copy await then destruct object to await then if, or it's like destruct and if reactive. It's a lot of different stuff. I'm not sure what to call it. All right, there's a new test, and I will try running npm test. I'm going to want to target this exact test and just run that. Let's make sure the rest of it works, though. No, it does not. Why not? Do I need to maybe do npm install? Update the latest dependencies. Maybe that's the problem. I might have to do a fresh checkout of this. Oh, one thing I forgot to do that I should do is create a new branch. And not do this on the master branch. I made that mistake last time. Because once I do a pull request, I'm going to want it to be on a separate branch. Or it's kind of a nightmare. Okay, so I'm gonna just check out -B. I usually call this by the issue name, so this is issue number 5508. All right, so we're on a new branch, and does npm test work? I hope so. Seems better. Much better. Super slow, and that's why I'm gonna try to target that specific test. Okay, so the output folder is created for me. I see. There might be even a better place for this test to go. There's a lot of different folders here. I just sort of landed in the first one that I found that dealt with await. Maybe it belongs in vars. I don't know. Not sure. There's a lot of tests though, eh? Just going and going. Yeah, I might have to do with vars. I'm not sure. Anyhow, next thing I need to do is, well, I'm happy that all the tests passed. So I need to remember or figure out how to run one test, not every test. npm test does mocha. Okay. So then I think what you do is -- and maybe specify which test. So it was in test / I already forget. Runtime. Oops. Runtime. Samples, and then mine was called await something. Why isn't it showing me? All right, let's look in here. Samples. Mine's called await then destructive reactive. If reactive. Is that the test? I'm not sure. Let's see if I can do that. Still has to build. No, it ends up running all of them. No, there's got to be another way to do this. I think I remember seeing that in the repo readme. Not sure. Not sure why I've seen that. Oh, here. -G. And then I think it's just searches, so maybe that. Or let's take out the folder names. Nope. It said something there, some error where it's like, did it erase that error? I don't see it anymore. It said something like it couldn't find that. I wonder if this is still true. That's a long time to wait anyway, to be honest, but I definitely don't want to run every single test every time. I could at least do just probably this one folder of them. That's still a lot though. So it'd be runtime. Basically it'd be npm test, probably test runtime, index.ts. Be a little bit faster maybe. Let's see if it jumps into $rest as the first one. No, it's still going through all of them. Okay, what if I do -g runtime? They should have do run test, I'm not sure why. Oh, with the dash. That's what I didn't do last time. So let's try what I ran last time with the dash. Still has to build everything. But hopefully it'll just show that one. Yeah, good enough. I don't know. There's no way that someone already had a test with that exact weird name. No. It must run the runtime once with SSR again. Okay. Good. I guess. So now let's try to modify the test so that it fails. That's this one, isn't it? All right, so in my case, there's a lot of other stuff going on. And I don't know if this will work, the promise, if the bug will be there. That's what we'll have to figure out. And then the other thing is, like, I think I was able to do it just a timeout. Triggered it. Doesn't like that. Oh, okay. 0. And then somehow there needs to be an if statement. I don't need all that stuff. I needed like data. I guess we can call result and say if result, then the result. It's never read. I think I have to use it as well. Let's say there, in here somewhere. I'll do a new one, test or count. Let's call it count. Okay, let's see. I need to pass in a promise. I don't expect the loading. What I expect is, I'm not actually sure what this is even doing. So the promise should be promise.resolve result 1, I guess. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure how this will work, so we'll have to figure that out. Like, what is this? What is this telling? Is this like testing for the server side? Server side should be blank, probably. Actually, server side, no, it'll probably be actually this. They'll probably actually have it, and the count should be 0. That's my guess. And then, do we want to test this other scenario? Well, I'm not sure yet how that works. So we need to be dynamic somehow for it to really fail. Are we passing in different ones? Does that matter? Maybe I don't know. I need to wait like a tick. I'm not sure how to do that. But we can await in the test, so maybe that's how we do it. So how about what I'll do is comment out all this for now. We'll just see what happens with just this much. If it kind of works. If it throws an error. If it's already broken, I'm not sure. Okay. Good. I guess. That's something. Okay, there's a lot of... It's freaking out. I don't know why. But I liked that this looked similar to what I put and was wrong. Should loosely deep equal paragraph result colon 1 count 0. I don't see actually what's different. These look identical. Oh, empty string. That's what's wrong. The actual is, there is no actual. Yeah. So is it not going to resolve? I guess I should figure out, like, let's look at another example of these tests, how they work. Something more simple. Attribute false. That seems simple. Yep. Config is just the expected HTML. Okay. So let's get that part working or not working separately. So we get a promise. I would think it would await server side, but I guess it's not going to, even though it's resolved already. I didn't know one way or the other, but that makes some sense. Yeah, what if we do server side here? What do we get? Just it's gonna return empty string, I guess. I'm not totally sure. Okay, like let's do not a promise and verify. So let's like output count outside of here. Let's just duplicate that and see what the test is. Is it gonna render count 0? Probably. And that's fine. If that's the way it works, I'm not gonna spend more time on that. Yeah, we got count 0. Okay, so let's just leave that. So we'll expect this to be an empty string. And then what we are focused on is what happens in like later. So we don't need to, do we need to assign a promise now? Or should we just, let's just see, the result would probably be 1, what I had before with count 2. No, count 1. Is it gonna be 1 or 0? I want to wait like a tick. Whatever that is. So I'd wait. Like it's gonna be 0 seconds. Oh, I can close that one. It's gonna be 0 milliseconds this. So I want to wait till after this is run. Let's just try it as is. See if that's necessary. Failed. We got an empty string again. So I guess we need to await. Maybe we should do this then. That's how the others worked. Like you inject a promise, you await this, and then it showed up. So let's try to do that. Let's see if we can get that working. And we might need to modify this just to like get something working, so I don't feel too bad. Oh, okay, more of it worked. Now just the count was wrong. I thought the count would be 1. It was still 0. That makes some sense. We can just like, yeah, so let's leave that in. Then we'll await new promise, resolve, set timeout. We'll wait 1 millisecond. And then see if that's updated to count 1. And you know what? I should put in an else, because maybe that's part of why it was empty. And we'll say like result. We'll still do result, and it shouldn't be undefined, but maybe it will be. I wish I could speed this up. Like really, I don't need to rebuild. I haven't modified the source code. Let's see where we're at. 1 passing. The server-side rendering passed because it was empty. Good. Result undefined. So yes, we're getting the bug. Good. I think we figured it out. So result undefined. It shouldn't be undefined, it should be 1. And then I guess we can include the count in both. So it's obvious that's not really the problem. Yeah, I think so. I think we have a failing test. If I was expecting result here to be undefined, this is the behavior that I'm seeing, is where we have the result, count 0, but when count is 1, suddenly it's undefined. Is this a passing test now? It is. Okay, good. So we have a failing test. And I don't know why, but we do. Do we want to tidy it up any before I commit it? Well, maybe I don't need this part. And I don't need component. Is that true? And I got to remember to change that to a 1. Or do we have to, is somehow injecting, like setting as a prop, is that a necessary step? Yeah, it's failing now. Okay, I'll leave that in. Maybe we don't need it up here then. No, we do need it here. Is that passing? Yeah, I guess it makes sense. The server side doesn't really know if a promise is resolved. That could be an enhancement for it to check. Can I read property result? No, okay. So I need to have something there for the server side to look at, even if it's not gonna resolve. And then this is different, I guess. Okay, so I'll leave it like that, just to verify this is passing. And then I'll make it fail and commit it, because it should not be undefined. Good. Okay. So all I've done, I've added 2 files. Oh, I almost forgot. So I want that. It should be a 1. Hey, it's me. Yes, I am still alive. Good to see you too. Yeah, I haven't been streaming for quite a while, but I have the house to myself right now, so it's pretty rare. My son's doing remote kindergarten, so it's very loud around here, and he's using my webcam as well. Alright, so add all this. So I'm gonna say new or add failing test for issue number 5508. Good. Now, shall we try to fix Svelte? That's the question. All right, deep breath. Where to begin? Somewhere in source, probably. Probably in runtime. Index.ts. Like, maybe we can like figure it out a bit from the JavaScript that gets generated from it. Maybe. So what happens when I click test? Let's change this actually so that it's just a timeout. I don't have to click something. We'll say test plus plus 0. And then we don't need a button. And we know data won't. We know this test. Oh man. I was just gonna say we know this test will fail, but it didn't fail. Well, I think I need to use test in here. There. So why? Like why? Test is test. See my problem? All right, so let's try to figure out what, because it must be in the compiled JavaScript, and that's what we need to fix. So let's figure out, and if I make this let, the bug is not there. So it has to do with the reactivity. So promise is here. Is that the only place? It doesn't actually call it promise after that. Okay, great. Then I need to figure this out a little bit. If data, is there a way to make it simpler? I guess I could do, I think this actually will make it work. Yeah, it's just undefined. Okay, that's part of it. This is where it actually creates the, well, the if block it says. So we have text. This is the word, the variable test. Then we have, let's go to the kind of the bottom. Here's my timeout. It's invalidating test. Here's my promise. It invalidates it based on nothing. Like it shouldn't. But when this first runs, it's going to invalidate promise. It's going to shortly after invalidate test. And then really the problem is that this data variable gets lost. So where is data? Is it not in here anywhere? No. Yeah, so how does that work? Is there then, it must be doing something like internal. So maybe I can't figure it out by just looking at this stuff. Must be in handle promise or something like that. So let's find handle promise. What does it do? And then something to do with the await. What do you think the difference is with MJS? One of these is built. One of these is original, I'm guessing. They look the same. Await block. Yeah. I'm looking for the word destructure or something about it. Like, how does it... Maybe let's search for that. Destruct. Mm-hmm. Let's say source. Destructuring. There's a lot. There's a lot to look through here. Okay, await block is destructured as a type definition here. Okay, so add to context value, key name. Yeah, this might be related. Add to context. So somehow the context gets lost between renders. Maybe something in here. So what I could do is throw in some console logs and that kind of stuff and see if it's maybe, like, see what it's doing there. Block render blocks. Actually, let's look also. So let's see if we see anything like that in here. Where's the actual wait block? Is it handled somehow? We have the if data. Some promise stuff, handle promise. Yeah, like if data was failing. What if I put data here? Is it also undefined in that case? No. So it's like inside the if block. It's actually available outside the if block, but then in the if block, in this, and then also here it's failing. Weird. Okay, so it must be a combination of things. It must be in that if handler, which is here. Get then context. What is that? Some magic. It must be importing it. No? Oh, it's here. Dot data. Here's the destructuring. CTX3. What's CTX3? Context 3. Context 3 you'd think would be the promise result. That's the only place. Yes, it's a challenge, but I'm just trying to fix a bug in Svelte. So we have CTX2 is probably data. Yeah, so it's a weird mismatch here. It thinks data is context 2, but then up here it's, which it is, yeah. It does assign it to that. So there's something wrong happening there. Get then context. Is that in the source code? No. So it's probably like one of these. Get context. Where's that? Get unique name. Get this dot status context. So it's one of these. Yeah, this is a challenge indeed. So it must lose the context. I don't know how context works here, but I guess you would think that a context is like cascading in a way that like the context of the parent block is available to the child block, and here it's somehow not, or it gets overwritten or something. Not really sure. So what I'm going to do is, okay, add to context puts it where in this dot context. So what if I log this .context at the bottom of this, and then run my test and see if that logs anything? Let's put a word here so I have some context for my context. It's telling you there's no this.context. Oh, it must be this.renderer.context. Right? Right. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, I found a bug and I created an issue for it for Svelte. It's pretty obscure, but I thought I'd take a stab at it, try to fix it. I've done that before. It's been kind of fun. Definitely a challenge. So like my test is still failing, but what I wanted to see is this context? I tried to log it out. Hey, that's bad. Oh, you know, it's probably all this stuff. Here. So what do I have? I have the promise, count, result. So result should be what I'm accessing. And it has a value of 2 for some reason. That can't be right. Oh no, it's that context value too. Then it happens again, and let me guess. No, it's still there. And then it happens again. Does it get lost ever? No. That didn't really give me anything to work with. I'll take that out. All right, I'm gonna switch back to trying to understand the code here that gets generated, because I feel like that's where the bug is gonna be. But I don't have a good way to like trace through this. I have to read through it and try to understand it. So create then block is in here. Get then context. Assigned context to data. This is somehow undefined. I wish I could edit. I can't edit in here, can I? No. And I don't know how I would like edit this code separately and run it. Could I? What would that even look like? Oh, I know one thing I might be able to do. So what if I do like at debug data? That should work, right? Yeah. It says it's there. If data, and then if it's not there, it's undefined. Well, I've confirmed something. What about CTX? Would that be meaningful? No, it's not defined. No, I don't have a way to like hook into this. So let's try to figure that out then. Where's CTX used? So we pass it in to get then context. We get it and create then block. We pass it in there, and then we try to use it here. If it's there, then we're gonna go in there. But I guess it's not available. That's the problem. For some reason, CTX2 is missing later. How could it ever be missing? Only because context 3 gets changed somehow? Or it's pointing at a different thing? I'm just going to look at everywhere that CTX is used. Select block type. It's just in a few places. I guess that context gets passed in from I don't know where. Oh, you know what? Control F isn't actually searching through the whole thing, is it? Is it? No, I don't think it is. When I go down more, it's there as well. Yeah, I think it's not rendering the whole thing. So let's copy and paste this. Let's get out of here and go to just in here. Just so I can look at it all. CTX, okay. Okay. CTX2 is still data in the else, but we know that fails. Could it be something here? Okay, what about specifically CTX2? Everywhere that's used, it says data seems fine. What about CTX3? It gets resolved. Info.resolved must be the result. That's child context 3. So where's that coming from? Context.slice. I have a suspicion it has something to do with this. Slice, I guess, makes a copy of the array. So it's making a copy and then it's updating this in the copy, but not maybe in, it should be actually updating CTX3. Maybe it should be doing that. So why does it do child context? Let's find that in the source code. How do we know why? We don't. This then dot value. So where are we even? We're inside render. We're rendering an await block. Oh, okay. So we have a then, we don't have a catch. So we don't care about the catch. So and dot resolved, I guess it must be the actual value. Here's the code I was looking at a moment ago in our generated code. All right, I have about half an hour to finish this up, so we'll see how it goes. So what if we, what can we do? Update child context, that's this, yeah. So, I mean, my theory was that I could like update the actual context. So why is it updating child context? What even is a child context? Oh, the child of the wait. But then, so like the if is a child, you would think it's still in there. Not sure where to go from here. I need to do some console logging or something. I could do it. I could like put it console logging in the actual generated code. That'd be weird. But I guess I can. Let's try that. Just see what happens. See what the child context is. All right. Skip over this. I don't know why it logs that out for me, but child context. Okay. This looks like something to work with. So the context 0 is the promise. This must be the count. Empty item for some reason. 0, 1, 2, 3. What if we, this would be the like result. This should be the 1. But not yet. Like when does that happen? That happens in this get then context. Maybe this happens in a bad order. And that's why. Okay, so let's look at in here. Get then context. When's that called? It's called at the start of the if block. Oops. and it's called at the end of the if block in P after. What does P do? I think it's the render block, if I'm not mistaken, or it's the update block. So what if we do this? What if we did it at the start as well? Or instead? Like, would that make an impact on it? So where does that P happen? I don't know. How do we get into this code? This is in the if block now. It probably, there's a good chance it relates to this, that this needs to do something different. Like the if block probably needs to ask, it needs to get the context better. It's not getting, it's doing it here. Why would it do it here though? That seems weird. Wouldn't it do it right before? Okay, so let's find, I guess there's probably a file called if block. Yep. And then get underscore or like, I don't know how this gets built. But I'm trying to find like this line. Inside if block. Oh, this is actually create then block. Why does it say then? Oh, it's just like, okay, it's part of that. So let's find it isn't probably an await block. And then we have this get context, and that gets pushed to the end of declarations or update. It's probably this one. So what if we change push to unshift? Which would put it at the start of it. Is that just gonna fix all my problems? Probably not. That'd be neat though. Or it might just fix the bug and then actually break 1,000 other tests. Yeah, it fixed the bug. I fixed it. Can it be true? npm test. That'd be crazy, really. So far, so good. Wow. Poggers. Cool. I think it's working. Well, we'll find out in a second. I might have broken like one other test. That would be bad. And you never know, like there's a lot of tests here, but you still never know if you're creating a bug if you don't fully understand the code that you're changing. But I'll make a pull request and I'll hope that someone more familiar with it can review it and see if I did something stupid. Wow. I feel like saying that was easy, but was it? Like I don't even know what I did. So let's double check. There's nowhere else that this is actually happening. Oh, here. Is that in the same kind of block? No, that's somewhere else. So I feel like unshifting is inelegant in a way that it's like putting it at the start later. But like maybe I should be pushing it in a different place instead of unshifting it where I did. So is this... I don't know. You know what? It works, so I don't know if I need to mess around with it any. I'm unshifting it, putting it at the start of whatever's there. I can't think of any downside to doing that. Without, I mean, I don't know enough about it, but offhand, since it didn't break anything, I don't see any benefit to like setting up the context later. Like you should be able to run this 100 times all the time, and it should always be right. You're always setting up the context. Yeah, so I think what's happening is it's doing this in a kind of an order where this is dirty. The context ends up being like missing for the promise. So when it does the if, it doesn't have data yet. But it's been like wiped out. So I'm just doing this earlier. I feel like there should be a white space after. Don't you think so? I don't know what the B actually does. Is it going to prettier it after? I don't know. Let's see. I guess it'll actually show me what the output is in my test folder. That was in runtime. Okay, do we have a better name for the test now, or was it good? Await. I don't even remember what it was. Await then destruct if reactive. I don't know if the reactive is probably a bad name. The rest of it kind of makes sense. Okay. And now we can actually see the output. Oh, it actually prettiered it, so it put a white space in. Yeah, why not that? It does it at the start of the other thing here. So that makes total sense to me. It sets it up before passing it to the if block instead of after. Why would it do it after? Maybe it needs to be both. Probably not. Yeah, you're right. It works. I don't need to make this a harder problem. Let's rename this then to if block. Destruct object if block. I'm trying to map. There's also await then if. Await then destruct object if. Okay. I'm not going to fuss around with the naming of it too much. I think that captures it. All right. One more time, I'm going to run npm test. Actually, let's commit it. Rename. Fix. Well, I'll put that at the end. So I'll say, what actually, let's use the wording here. So we're going to get context at start of update block instead of end of update chunk. No, it's a block. Start of if update block instead of at the end fixes number 5508. So by putting the words fixes number sign the issue number, by committing this and merging it, it'll automatically close the issue. I will run an npm test just to make sure I didn't mess something up with the renaming and everything. But yeah, I'll take the win. We did it. We fixed Svelte. It's not broken anymore. So I'll make a pull request. I will explain what I did. I suppose. I mean, the code will be self-explanatory. I only changed this. I mean, I added a test, but in the code itself, I only changed that one word from push to unshift. It's always amazing, like, what a fix looks like in the end. Like, I would never have imagined something like that. But once you get into it, turns out super minimal of a change. That's why people shouldn't be, like, judged based on lines of code they write. Like, this took me, how long have I been live? An hour. It took me an hour to change one word to fix Svelte. I think we're good, though. I think it would have. Yeah. We're golden. Get push. Set upstream origin issue 5508. So I'm pushing this to my repo, and it gives me a helpful link. So I will do that to create the pull request. And I'm doing the pull request in the official Svelte repo. And yeah, I'll just put some X's here to verify that I've done these things it says I should do. The message body should clearly illustrate what problem it solves. This is for the PR. I already did a PR. I did do a test that fails. And I did run the test. And then I think before all this before all this template stuff, I will explain myself. So, well, I don't know if I can even explain it because I'm not totally sure. But my understanding is that I changed push to unshift so that inside the update method of the it might be in the catch too of the await then block, the context is gotten. No, it gets the context before proceeding into the if block instead of afterwards. And maybe I should add a caveat. This didn't break any existing tests, but I'm unsure if there is some, if there are any implications of doing this I'm unaware of. Let's put that as second line. Negative implications. All right. Let's give this a title. I'm really not sure what to call it. Let's use my... Should I just call it issue 5508? Is that a good name for a pull request? Fix for... and then let's copy the... whatever I typed here. All right. Create pull request. I did it. Well, so if you go back to the issue, which it's there. Then automatically it will show my commits. And I think, is that all I have to do? That's probably all I have to do. Now I just wait for conduit tree to review this, probably. I think I can like tag them to encourage them to come. I could leave like a comment at conduit tree saying like, could you please check this out? I'll do that. I don't know. I don't think I have to. I don't know if it's rude to do it. I don't know if it's rude not to do it. I've added a pull request that seems to fix this bug. I'll just leave it at that. Good. And that's it. Thanks for watching.